Well, hello there guys, my name is Odin Wolf, and welcome back to some more Battlefield 1 gameplay. Can't believe I'm actually doing a commentary for you guys. It's been quite a while since I've done one of these, and it's been too long, so it's good to be back. And we're going to be taking a look at some of the new changes and features that have been implemented in the December patch that just came out this past Tuesday. One of those is the new map that you're seeing here. This is Giants Hadow. So if you pre-ordered the game, or if you have the Ultimate, or I think if you have Premium it's included as well, but you should already have access to this map. If not, the free version or the version for everyone will be available on the 20th, so you should be able to get your hands on it then if you don't have either of those. So anyway, the map is a fairly large map. It's quite linear though in the cap layout, or the points, the capture layout. As you can see, they're all pretty much in a diagonal line with each other. The main fighting area, or the area you'll see most of the fighting going on, is inside this Crash Zeppelin here. As I pick up a couple of kills with the new crossbow grenade launcher. That's a support only gadget, and comes in two variants. You have the HE version and the frag version, but let's not kid ourselves. The only version you need to be worried about using is the frag variant. The HE supposedly does damage to vehicles, but I have not seen it do any significant damage on a consistent basis. You're looking at like 5 to 6 points of damage to armored vehicles, so and it does next to nothing to infantry, so really don't even waste your time. Just stick with the frag variant and just launch them on some of these main cap points on this map, especially DNC. Like I said, there's usually always multiple people clustered together, so just launch them over in the general area of where you think somebody will be, and you'll rack up kills, no problem. So if we didn't have any grenade spam problems before, at least now the support class can contribute and launch their grenades across the map. So there you go. But I've played quite a few rounds on this map so far. It's really catered towards the scout class once again, as quite a few of the maps seem to be. There's really a large amount of vast open areas in between the flag points. So if you're good with the scout class, you should have no problem picking up kills on a consistent basis on this map. Me, on the other hand, not so much. I try my best, and I've gotten a little bit better, but I still can't get sniper kills on a consistent basis. So I have to kind of pick and choose the role that I'm playing, depending on the situation. I do hang out at the DNC points here a lot, and try to play assault and support as much as I can. So that's what I've found the most success doing so far. But some of the points a little bit further back on the map, I believe it's the A and B points. There's a lot of buildings, and you can go kind of house to house, clearing out rooms when people are camping in the upstairs attic and that sort of thing. And that seems to be pretty fun. The map in general actually is based off one of the single player missions. I believe it's the Through Mud and Blood. Towards the end of that mission, when you come across the train station, it's based off that level there, so that's pretty cool to see. I know a lot of people had been asking for some of the single player levels to be added into multiplayer, so here you go. Here's one right here. So I've heard some people make mention of this map being kind of ugly and not as pretty as some of the other maps. I don't know that I would call it ugly by any means. I think it still looks pretty good. All the maps seem to be pretty good in this game, in my opinion. It is kind of basic and a little bit more dull, I guess you could say. But there's still sections of it that do look very well, and I think the art department has done a pretty good job overall with the maps in this game. So. But anyway, let's move on to some of the other changes. I'm not going to go in depth as far as the patch changes and that sort of thing. I'm really not that good at that, and there's plenty of other videos out there that break it down in much more detail than I could. But just some of the things that have caught my eye, and I think are some of the more prominent changes that have been made. The movement system, now it no longer feels like you're stuck when you try to get up out of a crouched or prone position. Really glad to see that change, because I use the crouch slide feature a lot, trying to get around into cover when I'm being shot at, or if I see somebody on the mini map that I try to catch off guard, I'll slide around the corner and try to shoot them. And I can't tell you how many times I've been caught and got shot in the back after I've killed somebody by crouch sliding when I can't get up. Like, it just feels, I don't know, it's really weird. when you do the crouch slide and then you try to get up and run, it takes like 3 or 4 seconds to fully get back into a sprint sometimes. But seems like they've patched that up, and it feels a lot more fluid, and really feels a lot better now. So kudos to them for getting that solved. Some of the vehicle changes, the landship version looks like it's gotten a pretty good update. So now the tank hunter version, or the version of the tank that had the tank Gewehr primary, that does more damage to vehicles now, so that's good. And as well as I don't remember what the variant is called specifically, but there's a variant now that has the 20mm cannon that the flanker version of the light tank has. So that's really cool, because that's really the only version of the light tank that I use now is the flanker version. So you got one of those in the landship now as well, so that's pretty cool. Planes, on the other hand, I've really started getting my hands on with these, and the fighter version, the trench version of the fighter plane, has really become one of my go-tos. It's seen some tweaking, and the Rankin darts that I just dropped there no longer one bang the bombers out of the sky. So unfortunately, you can't you can't insta-gib people that are in the bombers with those now. So as much fun as that was something that really needed to be tweaked and changed, because obviously that's not the way they were designed, and that was not the way DICE intended those to be used. They're still very, very effective against infantry on the ground, so make no mistake, you can still get quite a few kills if you line those up on people that are on the ground. So, but as you can see here, though, the MG on the front has been tweaked and does a little bit more damage now, and if you get a good run on them and then pass over them with those Rankin darts, you can still take one down pretty easily, just not from 100%. So anyway, the rear gunner and the attack planes has also been tweaked now, and the AA turrets on the ground have had some adjustments as well. But sometimes, as you'll see in this clip, when you're outnumbered, you still have to kind of take things in your own hands sometimes. And yeah, we'll just knock him off his turret and say, we'll take control of that for a minute and use it against the plane that was behind me. So the effective range has been nerfed on these AA turrets again, so they no longer reach out as far as they did. Which I think is a blessing, because the amount of AA turrets that seem to be on these maps is quite annoying, and so as much reduction as we can give to those, the more happy I'm going to be. So I'm glad to see that those have been tweaked as well. I think they're in a pretty good state right now. But the apparently the AA turret on the Behemoth, the battleship, has still got its pretty long range, and it can pretty much get you from across the map still. So you got to be aware of that on some of the maps that have the battleship. So weapons changes, of course, we all knew the shotguns were going to be touched and tweaked. So the A10 Hunter, my very favorite shotgun for obvious reasons, has seen its effective range reduced, so you can no longer long shot people from a pretty good range with those. Obviously that needed to be tweaked, and it's by no means been nerfed into the ground. It's still pretty viable. I've used it a little bit since this patch, and still did fairly well with it. Now the trench gun, the M97, they gave it an extra pellet, so I guess trying to beef it up to where it's a little bit more of a viable choice compared to the A10. I still think the A10 overall is more reliable, but it's nice to see some of the other shotguns being tweaked to where you can use those a little bit more now as well. I think they actually made the 12 gauge automatic version. They made it a little bit more accurate, so you can spam it a little bit more without losing your accuracy, which is really good. That thing needed some help, obviously, because I never really found any reason to use it over the trench gun. You can spam the trench gun just as much as you could the 12 gauge, and it was a lot more accurate. So the gun you're seeing here, the MP18, I think they reduced its first shot recoil modifier, so it seems to be a little bit more accurate right off the bat, and that's good to see. Here's a little battle pack opening, and we got ourselves the legendary Lewis gun skin, the Rattlesnake. Doesn't really have anything to do with the patch changes, but I just thought that was kind of cool, and I'm a sucker for weapon skins in this game. That's one of the few things that have kept me playing. There's not really much in the form of content to keep you coming back for more, unfortunately, at this point, but I do enjoy getting those legendary battle packs and opening those skins up, so I'll take all those I can get. LMGs actually have been tweaked, and the versions that don't have the scope on them, I'm using one of the scoped versions here, but the versions that don't have the scope, I think they reduce their first shot recoil modifier as well, so kind of reduce the time it takes to gain full accuracy with those compared to the scoped versions, so that's good. I think they need all the help they can get as well. There's still laser beams when you go prone and use the bipod though, so make no mistake about it. If you can get in a good position, which apparently this rooftop's a good position, I found that out, so we sawed those guys in half. And I'm still not a very big fan of the Lewis gun. If I'm going to be playing support for an extended period of time, I'm going to stick with the Bar and the Madsen for obvious reasons. So anyway, that's pretty much going to wrap it up as this guy goes for a ride, and oh god, he splits right on the wall there. That's not an area you want to get stuck in, that's for sure. But anyway, that's pretty much going to wrap it up, guys. There's millions and millions of other changes that have been made, not literally millions, but there's been a significant change in a lot of things in the game, so I want to leave a link down below to the full patch notes for you guys to check out. Lots of balancing tweaks and things that have been changed to make the gameplay a lot better and a lot more balanced. So I feel that this should help out with some of the issues you guys have been complaining about. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up, guys. I do appreciate you taking the time to watch the video, and hopefully it won't be such a long wait in between my commentaries. And hopefully we'll have some more content out for you guys soon. But anyway, I appreciate the support as always. I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks.